Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Diplomatic Enclave. I'm your host Mohammad. But as is the norm, we always try to interview ambassadors, heads of international organizations, sometimes ministers and prime ministers for our show. Today is a special day for us as well because we've got somebody special, somebody who belongs to a state that has been extremely dear when it comes to Pakistan, Pakistani interests, Pakistani loyalties and the love of the Pakistani people. I don't think I need to say anything more about that state or describe it in more detail because I'd like my guests to do that honor. I've been joined by the ambassador of the state of Palestine to Pakistan, His Excellency Dr. Zuhair Mohammad Hamdallah Zaid, and he's right with us here in this very room. Thank you very much, Excellency, to have joined us.
Thank you very much for giving me this platform to represent my country in front of the people of Pakistan, to have this official meeting through the Pakistani TV. Thank you a lot.
The pleasure is all ours, Excellency. I'd like to begin by knowing a little bit about yourself. Could you give us an outlook? I know your background, but I'd like you to tell us a little bit for our audience.
I'm a Palestinian. I am a Palestinian from the half of nation that suffered from the Israeli occupation from day one. I'm son of a refugee. We had been chased from our home in a village called Beit Nabala at the first Nakba, 1948. And my father is a farmer, shift to different places. At the end, he settled in a village called Ramallah, called Beitillo, in the district of Ramallah. Took care of us, continued his work with hard efforts to grow up his children. And Alhamdulillah, we had our study at the beginning in a very close refugee camp called Der Ammar. My first study in the school. In secondary school, I went to Beitillo, from Beitillo to Zaid. And after that, after I finished my school, I went to a college called Kalandia. It's for UNRWA institution. There I studied 2 years as a civil engineer. After that, I entered the Israeli prison as a result of our contribution in our revolution manner. From there and after that, when I released in 1999, I had been employed in the Palestinian Authority. I worked with His Excellency, our president now, who was the responsible and the first leader for the negotiation with the Israelis. From there, I went to the Ministry of Planning and International Relations. At that time, I continued my study to have my second degree, because my first degree had already finished when I was in the Israeli prison. The second degree was from Zaid University in International Relations. The third, also master degree, it was from Malta. After that, I finished my PhD from Jamia Islamiyya Milliya in Delhi. And through those, many things happened. I had been left Palestine at the first time to go and serve my state in our embassy in Delhi. After that, I shifted to be the ambassador of my state in Sri Lanka, 2014. And after 10 years, I came here to Pakistan. But to tell you something, I remember from the beginning when the Minister of Foreign Affairs had been launched and created in Palestine, the wish was to serve my country in this region. And Pakistan always was the first of my choices that I had been highlighted in front of my minister to come And alhamdulillah, it came, but maybe it will be the last turnier for me. But at the end, I came to Pakistan.
Excellency, as they say, you always save the best for last, and you are here in Pakistan at a point where a lot is happening in Palestine, and Pakistan, which has always been by the side of Palestine, has since, not now, even before, with our father of the nation, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and it goes from then till now. We've always had a very unified stance when it comes to Palestine and Palestinian interests. Tell us a little bit about Pakistan. I mean, I know you're not here since a very long time, but what is your first impression in an official capacity in Pakistan?
Let me say something regarding Pakistan. First of all, Pakistan is not something new for us as Palestinians. We are aware of the Pakistani stance and support for us as Palestinians. And as Palestine united the as Palestine united the Pakistani people, the Pakistani political parties, the Pakistani in general, be sure that Pakistan also united the Palestinians. When we feel that Pakistan from day one, they are very clearly supporting Palestine, not just with word, but also with practical issue. From the beginning, many of our students came here to Pakistan. Your help in this aspect, for instance, contribute a lot to state building in Palestine. They graduated from Pakistan at the beginning. They hold a very high jobs in Palestine in our ministries, in all. There is engineers, there is doctors, there is many others that they were graduated from here. Many of my colleagues, whom ambassadors in different places also, they are graduated from here, from Pakistan. So Pakistan for us is a brotherly country, always in our side in political arena, especially in political arena, we can find Pakistan always supporting our rights.
Excellency, a lot has been said about Palestinian history. We still talk about it in shows. I have done it in my different shows as well. But if I were to ask you, how important is Palestinian history and what are the important points as far as your background is concerned and the present situation is concerned, specifically post the 7th of October 2023, would you like to highlight some of the important events, some of the important pointers that need to be told to our audience through this program?
Let me be very clear. First of all, so to speak about the context of history regarding the Palestinian issue, it's very important to say here that the Palestinians, the Arabs, the Muslims, all of us had been paid the price for what crimes others committed, especially the Germans, especially the Nazis, and before that. Let us start from there and before. As Muslims, as Arabs, all the time, we never commit any crime against Jews. It should be very clear. The opposite. They fly from several places in Europe before the Second and the First World War, and after that, as a result of racism, there in Europe, they fly to our countries, and we accommodate them. We live together in a very good manner. They had their works, they had their houses, they lived fully free, and some of them in Iraq or different places, other places, they have a very good administrative rules. Some of them became ministers in that period. But after that, what's happened? They want to compensate them by giving them our homeland. They suggest for them different places. But the Zionist movement try to contact the religious issue with their goal. And in general, this movement is an instrument. The idea to go to Palestine had been sort of acceptance also from the superpower. It means they meet together and find the interest that serve both of them. This national Jewish movement, the Zionist movement, and the superpower whom they want to divide our region and to control our region. So from day one, Israel became an instrument. Israel is a proxy. Israel is an entity that served the interest of others. This is why Biden himself said that he is a Zionist, that if Israel is not existed, he should be exist. This is why many of the American military officers and in high hierarchy said very clear that Israel is a military ship for the Americans, and this has mean a lot. So they support Israel to achieve those goals, to separate between the Arabs in Africa and in Asia, and to keep their control in our region, which is rich of natural resources. This is the first thing. The second thing, that Israel had been applied what the Western want, and see they are behind every escalation in all our region. As the Palestinians, from the beginning, we tried our best. Our new revolution started after the idea of unity of Arab nationalism had been failed. So Fatah movement and other organizations came for a fight for the revolution to achieve their freedom through a militant acts. And they raised the slogan that through our struggle, all Arabs and Muslim brothers will follow up. And this is also not succeeded. But also through this period, the Palestinian leaders were very realistic. They knew what they want. They had declared that they can accept to have one state solution for all civilians. This has happened in 1947. Also, they have declared through the Palestinian National Council that we are ready to have our state on any piece of land that we can liberate. Because the main issue for us as Palestinians, whom had more than half of our nation outside of our country, to find for our people identity, passport, that they can move, they can be recognized, they can be proud to be Palestinians. This is the goal. It's very important for us to find a place for our people to be recognized, to have the ability like others to move or to do whatever they want. So we suggest to have our state on any part that we can liberate. With this first intifada, several wars had happened. Speaking about genocide today, genocide started from day one of the Israeli occupation in 1948. Ethnic cleansing, many massacres. Some of them they discover newly and find the graves of the people. Kidnapping our women, kidnapping our people. This has happened along the history of the Israeli occupation. Their main goal is to chase us out of our country. And this is what they did in 1948. This is what they did in 1967. This is what they plan to do nowadays in Gaza and in the West Bank. 76 years and more. They are struggling to have their sovereignty, to end the Palestinian revolution, to end the Palestinian resistance. Until now, with all the support that they have in all levels from the Western country, in military bases, fund, whatever, everything they are giving them. At the end, the Palestinians still exist, and we still in the same direction. We want and we accept to have our state called Palestine in 22% of the historical Palestine, which is something that the international community had pushed to, according to the United Nations and Security Council resolution and other international organization resolutions. As a Palestinians from our side, we accepted this. This is the time to give us our rights.
This is the time to give you your rights, rights that have been denied since 1948 and even before that. The fact is, Excellency, I'd like to understand now that a ceasefire is in place and a couple of days have passed since the ceasefire came into effect, but despite that, we heard of reports of people being injured, people being killed, whether it be in the West Bank, occupied West Bank, whether it be in certain places in Gaza. This is what has been reported in certain parts of the media. How do you see the situation in your state post the ceasefire? What are your expectations now?
We are, now our state is a stricken country. Our state passing a catastrophe, the same Nakba that we had also before. This is the real situation. This is what's going on in Palestine. Our people had suffered a lot. The goal, as I said before, is to chase us out. They want to land. They want the land. They do not want us to be there in Palestine. This is the ideology. This is the main goal for the Israelis. What's happening in Gaza is not something new. Before this 7th of October, Gaza Strip, a very small area, under besiege for a very long, 4 years. They determine how many calories should Palestinian have, how much the amount of water that he can use or consume. So this is not genocide. This is not a sort of starvation for the Palestinian people. How many times they launched the war on Gaza? What's happening in the West Bank? The same. It means that also in several periods of time, from the second Intifada until now, many times they had declared about names of operations to intervene in the West Bank, to violate all the laws, all the agreements, entering to our villages, to our cities, demolishing houses, confiscating land, arresting people. So in all Palestine, this is what's happened. There is all the international organizations had been very clearly declared before 7th of October that Israel is an apartheid system. This is as a result of what's going on in the ground regarding the Palestinians. This is not just for the Palestinians in West Bank and Gaza. This is also regarding the Palestinians in East Jerusalem. This is the main issue also that happened regarding our Palestinians inside the Israeli state in 1948 area. Discrimination from the Israeli side cover everything in our life. See their settlements and look to the villages in the West Bank. How much the settlements have been increased. What they are taking the water resources from our land, from the surface, from there. We are paying, and they determine how many times or how much the amount that we should take from water. But for the settlers, they have a very green areas, swimming pools, everything. For us, the Palestinians, we do not find the water to drink.
You talk of human rights and, of course, the lack thereof when it comes to what is happening in Palestine. And not since now, as you yourself have said, since 1948, since the first Nakba. Of late, and I don't think this is something new, but now it has come in the open. The greater Israel concept and the map that has been shown on many occasions by Netanyahu that shows not only Palestine but other areas in the region also as part of the so-called quote-unquote Greater Israel. There has been a lot of talk about it. A lot of countries have protested as to why such a map exists. But what is the real nature of this map of Greater Israel? And what is this concept of Greater Israel? Will Israel manage to implement this in letter and spirit?
This is the dream for them. This is the ideology. This is the basis for their existence, especially from the right wing political parties in Israel, the religious parties. See, this is a complicated issue, especially if you look to it inside Israel. The main idea that this is the promised land, and the promised land from the Niles in Egypt until Al-Furat in Iraq, and all in between is the greatest Israel. Now, there is two streams. One is weak, and the other supported by evangelical and other groups, political groups in the world. The first stream who do not believe with this, because they are thinking that the time is not coming for the Jews to go back, and this land is prohibited for them. This will not happen through power. This will not happen through acts of a human being. This should be the order and the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what they believe. So they are against the existence of what it called Israel. This is part of the Jews. The second part, supported by the sort of the extreme also Christian, like in the United States, the right-wing Christian, thinking that we should enhance the will of Allah. They are enhancing the will of Allah by creating Israel, to have as soon as possible the last of the day, and to have before the Armageddon war. This is two main ideas. So for the creation of Israel, the idea of having Israel, they want to find a religious basis for such a support to convince others to follow up. So from the beginning, I remember one of Israeli presidents who also was in the Labour Party, and he vice-man, he said, they asked him, did we have the victory in Palestinians or Arab? He said, we have small victories, but a strategic victory will not happen. Because if this will happen, it should be victory in all Arabs and all Muslims, because they know exactly what's the issue of Palestine means for all Arabs and all Muslims. Palestine is a holy land for all Muslims. As a Palestinians, and to be very clear, here in front of you, we are blessed by being the guards for this holy land for all of you. Here in Pakistan, and everywhere in the world, we are just guards, and we will keep our rule and do whatever we can to protect the rights of all our brothers, the Muslims and the Arabs in that land. And I'm sure that day will come that all of us, we can pray in our holy places. And in history, we never did anything against any religion. We lived peacefully, with harmony, with love, with respect, with Jews, with Christian, and we protect them. And our history is very clear regarding this matter, not just us as Palestinians, but also as Arabs and others. We should not pay the price of the crimes that other committed. And instead of taking our homeland, Palestine, they should take part of Germany and give them to have their state.
One thing that I'd like to understand, you talk of the religious sites. The first site that comes to my mind is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And when it comes to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, I've also seen Israeli settlers going and doing their prayers there. Has there ever been a precedent of such a thing happening in the past?
Also, to give an explanation from the point of view of the Jews themselves, including part from the Israeli government nowadays. The most religion, those from the side that I spoke before, that still this is the order or the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not coming, the time is not coming. So they should not go. But the extreme ones, and it should be very clear, in their plan, in their thinking, they should demolish all Muslim places and create their temple. And their temple, the center of their temple, should be, where is the Dome of the Rock? The center of the Dome of the Rock. There is a very clear plans that many extreme organizations had the plan. And I can show you this after this program. Very clear. Masjid al-Qibli, the southern mosque area, should be for service, where they will slaughter their animals, where they make all the cleaning, the cooking, or to serve the others. So all the area, which is 144,000 meters square, 144,000 meters square, want to have it as their temple. This is why they before burned Masjid Qibli. This is why all the time trying to enter to the place and to slaughter some animals there. This is, and they declare presents for anyone who can succeed and do. And this is why also they are entering to pray there. And this is as a result of the Israeli government. And it's very important to be mentioned here that Israel in general, as a state, as a community, has shifted to the right. This is as a result of the developments that happen on the demographic level. The number of the extreme and the right wing and the nationalist, the more religious people became, their number became the majority inside Israel.
Will there ever be any appropriate accountability measures against Israel? We know what happened with the ICC, we know what happened with the ICJ. Do you feel in any way that the Fourth Geneva Convention or the other human rights conventions could be applied one day to Israel so that it could be held accountable?
This is our wish, this is our prayer, this is what really we want. This sort of hypocrisy that we saw, especially from the superpower, that they all the time trying to teach us humanity, trying to give us guidelines about rules, about law, about life. They fail. They really fail. They give a very bad picture to the whole of the world when they try to have double standard. Very clear. See their position regarding Ukraine. See their position in different places in the world, and look to their position regarding Palestine. With their stance, they are giving Israel the green line to continue their crimes, their atrocities, their genocide. They giving them the ability to continue, not just through their silence, but also through their support, if this on the military level or other aspects that always they are giving Israel. So as a Palestinians, we ask all the international community, all of them, to take a practical steps to stop Israeli atrocities. And they can. All of them, if they want, they can. If they want, if you go back to the history, see what's happened in 1956 when French and the UK and Israel launched a war against Egypt. When the Americans want them to stop and withdraw from all Sinai, they withdrew. When they came to Madrid, the beginning of the peace process, the most stubborn, most extreme leader was Shamir. George Bush tell him, you should come. Without coming, you will not have our funds. So he came also to Madrid. This time, without the American and Trump pressure, they did not stop the war in Gaza. So the international community have the ability to stop this war. Without ending this Israeli occupation, not just the Middle East. You can see the last one came from Morocco, have American identity, came to Israel, and disturbed some Israelis there in Tel Aviv. So this issue, not issue for the Palestinians, it's the issue for all Arab and Muslim people in this world. So to have stability, to have peace, it's a crucial, it's very important thing for all the world. Without solving this issue, no stability, the opposite. And this, what's happened, can be the indicator that show that without solving this issue, anytime escalation can happen. Anytime regional and international escalation and wars can be launched. This is the issue.
Do you feel in the present context and situation that, of course, the world is seeing vis-a-vis Palestine, that a two-state solution with Al-Quds al-Sharif as the capital is still a viable one?
From our side as a Palestinians,
Yes,
as I told you, we accept this.
Okay.
And we believe that if the will of the international community will be positive, yes, it can be. But the issue is something else. Also, if this will not happen, what's the result will be? The result will be to lead to apartheid. And at the end of this apartheid, what's happened in South Africa will happen. It means to have one state solution. This is depend on the Israeli side. This is depend on the international community. If they will push toward two-state solution or one-state solution. From the beginning, as a Palestinians, we do not have a problem. The issue is the Israelis, whom racist, they have laws and they apply laws to have this state just for Jews. They did not recognize the rights of the Palestinians also inside Israel. They do not have, they do not want to have one state solution. This is the main cause from the beginning.
Excellency, how important has been the relationship that both Pakistan and the state of Palestine have enjoyed since 1948 and maybe even before that, and now it has gotten stronger and stronger. I just want to go back many decades and talk about how important Palestine has been to Pakistan, with the quote from our Qaid Mohammad Ali Jinnah, who in February 46 told a New York Times correspondent that he would go to any lengths to help the Palestinians. When asked what any lengths meant, he said, "It means whatever we can do." It was unqualified and a principled support for Palestine, and that support still remains. How do you view the relationship between our country and your state, and how has that development been? Has it been robust? Has it only strengthened our relations? What's your take on that?
This position from Qaid Azam still viable, still the Pakistani people taking into consideration their relation with us as a Palestinian. And we feel this in all levels. The support that we have here in Pakistan is cover all the aspects. We know that also Pakistan face problems like any other countries. In this world, no one had full independence. It's international relation, it's also the influence of superpower, the order of this world with the Security Council, United Nations. So it's complicated. Despite all this, and despite the problems that Pakistan faced, Pakistan always very clear in their position regarding the Palestinian issue and supporting the will of the Palestinians. Whatever the Palestinians choose and accept, Pakistan will accept and support. This has happened through all our history. They are giving us training in all levels also, from the past until now. I mean it, in all levels, in all aspects. They are supporting us. So we highly appreciate this support, and we consider very well, once again, the limitation, the situation in general, that all our states, it's the same. Believe me, look to Egypt, look to Jordan, two states whom in this last war were under a very big pressure and stand strong, not allowing Israel to achieve their goals. Because the goal of the Israelis was to chase our people, to expel them from Gaza and the West Bank to Egypt and Jordan. And what's going on nowadays? Nowadays in the West Bank is the continuation of what's happened in Gaza. And we wish we pray that this war should be ended. We want to see the end of this war, but also we do not want to go back to 6th of October. We want to see our country free. We want to see a real peace process. We want to see implementation of the international law. We want to see a real applyment for all the international decisions regarding our cause, and to see the Palestinian state existed on the ground. This is what we pray for, and this is what we want.
And this is what Pakistan and the Pakistani people and our governments and all our political parties want, exactly what the Palestinians want. I think that it could not have been more ably demonstrated by the All Parties Conference that was recently held, in which there was only one stand. There were not two opinions as far as Palestine is concerned. You met our President Asif Ali Zardari twice. Once when you gave your credentials, and once when you met him a bit later last year as well. You have discussed avenues for bilateral cooperation, which include education, trade and cultural exchange. When it comes to education, trade or cultural exchange, what kind of avenues could be interesting for Palestine?
Education is very, very important for our people. I told you this is can be changed, the socio-economic also for whom will have the support, especially here in Pakistan, and there is. And also it can contribute for state building. We have, in general, we have the basis of the same beliefs. So no difference between us, the opposite. We are in the same boat. We have the same beliefs, the same thinking, the same culture. Our rule is to, the stone foundation had been put in before, from the day one of leader Qaid Azam until today. But now we should be more practical. We should organize more. We should increase the visits. We should have agreements. We should, in general, we should be effective more in this level and in other levels, including also the trade and the economic issue.
All right, that is, of course, I feel important. Once, inshallah, everything calms down and the rehabilitation starts, because almost all of your infrastructure has been destroyed in Gaza, and the state of affairs when it comes to your administration also is extremely bad. The hospitals are in shambles, the educational institutions are almost not there, the police stations have been destroyed, police officers have been killed, and I mean I can go on and on. Human rights activists have been killed, journalists have been killed. The list is incredible, and the children, Excellency, who have been killed, women and children have been have borne the brunt, because they are the most of the victims are women and children in this conflict. And the children who still survive, what kind of scars will remain on their minds in these coming years, or on what they have gone through? I mean, this is something, to really ponder.
Brother, you touch the painful points. Gaza and our people, along history, we suffered a lot. Massacres, a real planned ethnic cleansing, genocide that we passed along our history. This last war had been committed under the eyes of the world, with the support of especially the Western country, and in particular, United States of America. No one can imagine or think that this will happen in this time, under the eyes, on live stream, very clearly. The Israelis, when they fell, and they will fail also in the future. They will never reach a point to find the Palestinians surrender, the opposite. With all those hard things, what will happen to 70,000 orphans? What the future they will have? What about the trauma that everyone in Gaza had passed? After this is fire, when they go back to see their houses, their places, how the impact will be, what the future. Force and force will never achieve peace. Peace should be achieved by giving the Palestinians their rights. With this demolition, with this crimes, this will escalate the situation. The opposite, this will make the situation more extreme in all levels. Israel did not give the Palestinians any time the opportunity to handle their themselves. Israel all the time, in their policies all the time, weaken the official authorities of the Palestinian people. From the beginning and starting of this peace process that ended by Israel, actually. The Israelis, through their violations, had been ended the peace process and stopped it. They did not give the Palestinians the opportunity to handle their issues and their future. They weakened them. They show that they are not able. They are, for instance, cutting our taxes revenues. They are closing the borders. They do not allow us to move. Today we have more than 900 checkpoints in the West Bank. In front of every village you will find a gate. Now, if you want to go from village to village, expect that they will ask from a Palestinian to have a permission to go from village to village, because every village there is a gate in front of it. So it's also the time. This is the, in my point of view, this is the last opportunity. If they will not, and this is the responsibility of all the international community, if they will not go through a real act, first of all, to give our people in Gaza the rights to rebuild their houses, to rebuild their schools, to have, this is direct now, it's an urgent thing that the Palestinians need there. They want water, they want food, they want shelter, they want everything. And this is the first step that it should be taken directly. Any delay will cause to more violence. Any delay will keep the people thinking that with Israel nothing can help, just using force and power. Instead of this, the world should give the second way, the second opportunity. They should do something for peace. It means practically they should go on to find the and reach the solution and to give the Palestinians their rights. We do not want to go back to 6th of October to have Gaza under siege. Gaza needs a lot. Some they are speaking about 80 years, some they are speaking about 30 years to rebuild Gaza. So to be under siege it can be take also more. So it's very important if they want peace in our region to give us our rights, and we can handle our things, and we can rebuild Gaza, and we can rebuild our state.
I'm sure all of Pakistan who's watching this interview, including myself and my team, our prayers go with you, with the Palestinian people, with the hope, with the desire, with the wish that real peace comes now before it's too late, and that real reconstruction, rehabilitation happens right now from today, and that the countries at least get together to put the Palestinians back on their own feet, all those who have still survived this horrendous ordeal that started on the 7th of October in 2023. Our prayers will continue to remain with you. Our commitment to the Palestinian cause will also continue, as has been stated time and again by our Prime Minister, by our ministers, by our UN Ambassador Munir Akram, and so many others. We've always remained united in our stance as far as Palestine is concerned, and we hope to see peace. And as I say, I hope one day we'll go and pray in the Al-Aqsa Mosque together.
Inshallah.
Finally, I have taken a lot of your time. I've made you emotional as well. What kind of message would you like to give to Pakistan, to Pakistanis through this interview?
The first thing, to thank the Pakistani people, to thank the Palestinian people whom have also such a leadership, to thank a Pakistani people for their warmth, for their support in all levels. I really highly appreciate the government support, other organizations support also. The people, the warmth that I feel in the street, from the bottom of my heart, really thank you for everything, and keep in mind that you are uniting us and you are doing whatever you can, and thank you for everything. For us, we know the situation of Pakistan, and we appreciate your support, whatever it is, in all levels. You are doing all what you can, and thank you for everything once again and again and again.
Thank you very much, Excellency Dr. Zuhair Mohammad Hamdallah Zaid, Ambassador of the State of Palestine to Pakistan, to have stayed with us, to have talked to us so candidly, so openly about what Palestine has gone through, still continues to go through, with the wish, with the optimism, with the hope that the next few days, weeks, months and years will only be bliss, happiness, reconstruction for the state of Palestine. We wish and we pray for that, and we'll continue to
Inshallah.
do that.
And thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this very important, interesting and emotional interview. We'll be back inshallah very soon with another guest. Then stay tuned right here to PTV World and Excellency. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.